November 1st, 2015, and we want to know, will Bizarro be the newest member of the Justice League Dark?
If Superman is exposed to a black hole sun, does he lose his powers or just wash away the rain?
All this and more is coming up now. It's DCU weeks 16 and 17 here at DCR.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Buongiorno, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the DCR. I'm hyped, I'm psyched, I am pumped and ready to rock and roll.
Full of sugar.
I am full of sugar. I am cracked out on sugar right now. But that's not why I'm all hyped up, because I, of course, am Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire. I'm going to claim it back. I'm taking it back. And I am joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. Brian Glein. Hello, sir.
Hey, Sean.
How are you today?
I am fine.
But we're not alone.
No.
I'm back!
We're not alone. It's Kelly. Why, hello, Kelly.
Hello.
How are you? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. To quote Stained, it's been a while.
Yep.
That was Stained, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know anything about Stained.
I think so. I vaguely remember listening to that.
I could bring back the old Q-tip quote about been a long time, shouldn't have left you, but you know.
Well, I mean, if that's not a bad one for this. That works. We can stick with
And I
Q-tip.
really don't know anything about Q-tip, but I know that song.
But Kelly is back to add her fun demeanor to our sourpuss ways here.
Yes, we are the grumpiest podcast in all of comics.
That's what everyone knows us as. By no means are we positive or happy or upbeat. We are just sourpusses. Grr.
I just ate, a bunch of Sour Patch Kids, so hopefully I'm not too sour.
Well, actually, we're all just cracked out on candy right now. So
Yeah, we are.
If we just kind of run off screaming into the night, you'll understand why.
What was it? Sean Lamort, Brain Glein, and Skeleton. It's the Halloween episode.
Well, technically, this is the week after Halloween episode.
Well,
Time travel! But what we're going to be doing here today is going over all of the books that have come out from DC Comics in their DCU line, in this case, from the weeks of September 16th and 23rd, I want to say.
Yeah, I can verify 16th. Give me a second.
Well, that's 7 days later would be the 23rd.
Okay, good. You're better at math than I am then.
But we're going to talk about all the things that happened in those particular issues that were released in those weeks, except for one, and we'll get to that a little bit later, and I'll explain why. But we're going to talk about plot beats, storylines, character development, so consider yourself forewarned. Spoilers be ahead. Yar. So if you do not want your book spoiled, do not listen ahead. If you're a month behind still, yeah, you got time to catch up still. We'll still be here. Luckily, the internet never forgets. Never forgets. So this episode will be here for you once you are ready. So without any jibber-jabbering, what are we going to do? Should we...
Are we going to get Swifty?
I guess we can get Swifty. I'm not very good at it, but let's
I don't even know what that is.
get Swifty into this week's books.
Show me what you got.
All right, I get to lead off the stack. It's been a while for that, too.
Yeah.
It's been you at the top of the episode each time for the last couple of weeks.
Thank goodness for alphabetical order.
Yeah, that's pretty much now you're making us sound really lazy where we're just like, yeah, whatever. They're in alphabetical order. They'll just work that way. There's been some jumble.
Yeah.
Not much, but
Minor
some.
jumble.
But I'm going to be leading us off with Bizarro number 4. Bizarro, I love you. Bizarro, as we know, was off on a road trip with Jimmy Olsen on his way to Bizarro America, a.k.a. Canada. And along the way, they've had some misadventures, and in their last one, they cross paths with Chastity Hex, the long-lost descendant of Jonah Hex here in the present day. And they had captured a bounty in a ghost town and ended up needing to take that bounty to Branson, Missouri.
It's like Las Vegas if it was run by Ned Flanders.
And luckily, when they stop in Branson, they see that Zatanna is there doing a one-night-only show of magic, and Bizarro hate magic, so Bizarro have to go see show. And
he does not have to go see the show?
Well, yes, he does not go see show. Anyway, Jimmy and Bizarro end up seeing the Zatanna show, and in a moment of clarity and hindsight where I'm just like, well, this is obvious, Bizarro turns out to be a master of backwards magic. So much so that he actually takes away Zatanna's powers accidentally. It wasn't malicious. He was just like, Zatanna am good at magic, and it was what he meant to say, but he was like, Zatanna am no good at magic, and it ended up taking away her powers. And then, in more chaos, he ends up doing a Freaky Friday switch with Jimmy Olsen, turning him into Bizarro Jimmy Olsen, while he becomes suave, debonair, ladies' man Bizarro. And the two of them go off and have misadventures again. In this particular scenario...
Such a ridiculous issue, but so good.
Really is. In this one, Bizarro...
It's one of those, can't believe no one has thought of this before
that's
kind of thing.
That's what I was saying. It was, in hindsight, this makes obvious sense, but when would these characters ever be put into this situation?
Suppose, yeah.
But Bizarro Jimmy Olsen is trying to take the worst picture ever, so he's destroying the town of Branson, and Suave Debonair...
Smirnoff, no!
Suave Debonair Bizarro is macking on all the locals and getting phone numbers and everything, and they end up finally getting returned to normal thanks to Zatanna, and they both have a moment of clarity where they realize what it's like in the other person's shoes, where Jimmy's like, is that what it's like for you all the time, where you can't communicate clearly? And he's like, is that what it's like for you all the time, where you have to just feel bad and try to disassociate yourself with me? Oh man, now we understand where each other are coming from, and we're the bestest friends ever. And hug time.
Wait, so how did Zatanna get her magic back? Man,
I'm assuming
talk.
she got it via magic. She did magic to get her. It's magic. It's magic.
So she did magic with a C to get her magic with a K?
Maybe. I think that's actually what it is. The magic with a C, obviously, that's some parlor trick stuff.
Yeah.
You throw a K
get into that
on
with
there.
Constantine later.
Yeah, you throw a K on there, all bets are off at that point. But luckily, they end up making up and making friends once more, just in time to be drafted by Argus, who shows up to ask for their assistance in breaking into Area 51. Because, hey, why not?
Sure.
It's playful, it's light. I've said it before. It is an all ages book. It really is an all ages book, because even I chuckled a couple times at this one. The art style and the dialogue are simple enough that a kid could follow along on what's happening at the very least.
But the artwork is still just exquisitely done.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's childish whatsoever. I'm just saying it's
a real animated style where everyone's got varying body types depending on their personalities and things like that.
Exactly. You have your giant stocky squares. You have your thin, lean guys.
Yeah, guys with those S's.
Yep. So I mean, it's very well done. I quite enjoy it a lot. I hope DC actually does more miniseries like these where they just go, hey, just go and have fun with it and do
6
that.
6 months, have some fun.
Exactly.
Here's a character that you probably wouldn't be able to hold their own title, but hey, here's a fun story we've got.
Yeah, and it's just short enough that you don't get burned out on the premise, but just long enough that you actually get to enjoy a ride with them. So I think nice little 6 and perfect for a trade. Just throwing that out there.
Just saying, yeah.
Just throwing that out. So next up,
we got Black Canary number 4. A lot of fill-ins this month.
Yeah.
A lot of fill-in artwork, but oh no, Annie Wu isn't drawing this issue, so they got Pia Guerra.
Oh,
no,
you feel so
stop.
bad about this.
Oh yeah.
My complaints are non-existent.
Yes. Yeah, you want to get the Why the Last Man artist to draw this. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. At all. In this story, we are dealing with the story of Bo Maeve, who was the lead singer of Black Canary before Dinah, our Black Canary. That's still very confusing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But then they call her Dee Dee, which still doesn't sound right. I think like Dexter's Lab whenever I say that. So
dating yourself.
Yeah, I know. So
though it would be funny if she ran into like the Arrow Cave and was messing with things, and he's like, "Dee Dee, get out of the lab!
You are stupid."
That would be the Green Arrow issues. I would be all over.
Yeah. So we also learned that they were just her backup band. They weren't called Black Canary until Dee Dee joined, so Patience, thank you for the eventual answer on that one.
Yes.
It was driving me crazy. So you get the vague, unreliable narrator thing where Bo, who has kidnapped Ditto, is explaining how her parents were super controlling and forcing her to be a child pop star, a la like the Disney Channel factory system, or whatever. Even though it seemed
any J-pop artist,
J-pop or the
J-pop takes it to a whole new
I
level.
know they take the Backstreet Boy model to frightening levels. So it seemed like she's doing everything on her own against her parents' wishes. So she's not the best narrator, as I just said. But she worked her way up. She got a record deal. She got her backup band, and then went full crazy control freak, tortured artist. And the record company was all, hey, there's this lady singing for Ashes on Sunday that isn't going to give us any of this crap. So they just replaced her, super quick. And so Bo did literally she threw a fit on and during a music video, and she went and stormed off to her thing, and then when she came back, Dinah was there wearing the same exact costume. It's bye. We were ready for this, okay?
Ouch.
Yeah, so then Bo did the most rational thing she could think of and tried to burn down the music video set.
No, that makes sense. That's a logical leap right there.
Yeah, but Dee Dee was able to Canary cry it away, caw, and on to stardom she went.
And did a little pirouette jump out the door.
Yes, exactly.
Dee Dee!
What does this button do? So through all of this, Ditto is really good at copying what Bo is doing, hence the name Ditto. So to the point where she almost wants to give her the pop star treatment like she had as a kid, and have her own mini-me on stage with her. But she had other plans because she was going to deliver Ditto to Amanda Waller. Because remember, Ditto is an alien that the government had been harvesting DNA from to give people superpowers.
Yep, as far as Team 7, right?
Yeah, Team 7, yeah. Dee Dee may or may not have some of Ditto's DNA in her that gives her the Canary cry.
So would she be DDD?
Maybe?
Dinah Drake Ditto?
Possibly. So, Bo gets to go off and get her own superpowers. That was, her deal with Amanda Waller. So they take Bo off. But Ditto is saved from Amanda Waller by White Canary, it seems.
Is it White Canary?
Because
it would make sense for her to start making a entry into the books by now.
I know, exactly. But she's where?
Who's White Canary?
White Canary is in the TV show. It's going to be
let's keep it vague for people that may not have seen the show. White Canary is a character from Arrow that has a relation with Black Canary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence the similar names.
Yes.
And I think it was very different in the comics, but we seem to be going because it looks like just Dee Dee in a white ninja costume. But then she delivers...
I'm sorry, it's still stuck in my head.
I know, right?
I'm just picturing Dexter's Lab DD in a white ninja gear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she delivers Ditto to Dee Dee's motel room while she's off looking for Ditto, and then all of a sudden Ditto's right there. It's oh, thank goodness. I am so glad you're safe.
In the background setting everything up so that Dinah isn't having issues, just whoop.
I guess, I know, right?
Dinah's man, I'm so hungry, and all of a sudden just a fishing line with a sandwich comes down.
Oh, man.
And White Canary away.
Yeah, she never actually sees White Canary, but
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. I need a White Canary right now.
Me too. I could use a sandwich. I didn't eat breakfast yet.
It's funny how the comic that has so many Scott Pilgrim nods to it is just added a character who on TV is played by someone who is constantly forcing an Envy Adams voice.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's my favorite thing about her. I'm so glad she's coming back. But yeah, so now Bo has a canary cry because she's going to become famous on her own and be a unique individual, a nonconformist, by doing every single thing that Dinah did before her.
That isn't being nonconformist.
You are all different and unique. I'm not.
But yeah, it's still good.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the story. We took a whole, a lot of things that people are complaining about. It's what is this? This doesn't make any sense. 4 issues in, a whopping 4 issues, not that many.
Yeah.
Answers are coming. Slowly
I know.
But surely.
I'm in the same boat as you are, but I can understand where some people are coming from because there was because
God forbid you get jumped into the middle of the action part and you don't have to deal with all the boring setup.
It was more of a character setup and more of a let's find our tone and style.
Yeah.
At the beginning, for at least the first issue or two, where very little happened as far as plot
But it
development.
looked awesome.
Yeah, it did. And then once they found their voice, now they're moving the plot forward on it, and it's I'm hoping people didn't bail after 2 and go, it's just a all style, no fill, and it was just like, no, come on, just give it a little time, and now it's funny.
I don't know. This thing's very interesting and fun. I don't know how that's not why I like my comics.
No, you hate those.
Yeah.
Hate those. Especially with guest artists like this.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, you got another one, don't you?
Speaking of good guest artists, Constantine the Hellblazer #4. It's a really nice story continuing. Constantine has been drunkenly stumbling through London while remembering his past and how he was in the band Mucous Membrane with his old girlfriend Veronica Delacroix.
Everyone's a rock star in the DCU.
I know, right?
What's up with that?
It's just really easy to be a rock star.
Oh, well, maybe I should do that. Maybe I can get a white canary then if I become a rock star.
That's all you gotta do. It's the prerequisite.
Damn it. Why didn't anyone tell me this?
I mean, come
When
on.
you're
Look
filling
how
out the
easy
forms
it
for a white canary, you're just like, do you play any instruments? Like, I can pretend I play a synth player.
I played Rock Band once.
I mean, look at Justin Bieber. He was found on the internet. He's not that great.
The internet is known for its errors on occasion.
Yes, it is.
Still waiting for that apology check for Carmen, but So anyway, it's super great because they're dabbling in magic that they don't understand and making music and attracting both humans and monsters and demons to their shows. They're getting in some weird dark underworld crap while they're becoming like a local favorite with this band.
Well, you got to build your core audience and
yeah.
then expand out from there.
Yeah.
How do you go mainstream from that, though?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a hard switch over right there.
It's not the 90s. You can't pull a Marilyn Manson anymore.
No.
Or maybe it was the 90s when this was happening. I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, maybe. There you go.
So
answered.
Yep. So things start to go haywire, and Veronica's parents stop recognizing her, and Constantine eventually dumps her because she's having second thoughts about the whole dark magic stuff. And so she even goes to their friend Georgiana, who we met last issue, who was kind of like, no, I don't want anything to do with any of you. You kind of ruined all of our lives.
Government magic agent?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
Her Majesty's magic
service, yes.
Yes.
So, magic, strees, magic.
Oi, boo, boo.
She's like, I warned both of you about this crap. Get out of here. So she goes back to see John, and we find out that she just wants to be normal again because whatever stuff Veronica was getting into was slowly turning her into like either a ghost or invisible or intangible or flat out just not part of our realm anymore.
Ouch.
She did not have the same handle on magic that Constantine did. So John might even be the only person that can see her. It's kind of super sad. It's like
That is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
So in the present day, as Constantine's going on a bender because all of his ghosts are being killed that he can see, he goes and he starts heckling Amateur Magic Night. Which is great. It's like, you've got your cards in your sleeve. I can see everything. You're the worst. That's magic with a C, not magic with a K at the end. Boo.
Is that your British boo? Boo.
Boo. So, he goes off. He tries to show off. He starts summoning actual ghosts to like freak out the norms. Then eventually his like ghost killing monster shows up to start killing all those ghosts that he just fed out in the open.
So wait, the big bad in this is Pac-Man?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's more of a creepy tentacly Pac-Man, but you know.
It's Pac-Man.
Cthulhu? I don't know.
Cthulhu.
So since he's just so plastered and dead inside, he lets the monster just take him. And then the monster starts, like, kissing him and nuzzling his cheek. Because it turns out the monster that's been killing his ghosts is Veronica. That's what she's become.
Oh
snap.
Weird.
Weird, but really good.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy as all get
Yeah,
out.
the artwork does a good job of setting a tone as it's building up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a swerve at the end that I was completely caught unawares
It's like, in
on.
hindsight, makes total sense, but...
Yeah, they staged it perfectly.
It beautifully.
But it was
Good
still
job,
a
Ming
nice
Doyle
swerve.
and James Tinian.
Yeah, the swerve at the end I did not see coming. And even though it was all the clues were there, and I was like, oh, nice. Full circle.
I will not be hanging
Like
out with a blue
Pac-Man.
dog anytime soon. All right, I can't top that. All right, keep it magic. Thanks, thanks to alphabetical order, we are still keeping it magic.
Yeah, and it's magic. The magic of improperly using a title that you have not earned yet. because I'm doing Dr. Fate, where Khalid, who is now going by the name Kent, just cuz, is struggling through his first few weeks of med school. How do you call yourself Dr. Fate when you, sir, have not finished med school? This is a travesty, and he is going to be taken to court for this.
I don't know anyone who's been mistakenly called a doctor recently.
No, nobody at all.
No,
Sean.
I earned that, I have you know.
You earned that by marrying Beth.
That's right.
So now you're Dr. Lamont.
Damn Skippy. But as he's struggling through med school, he is also struggling with the fact that the Egyptian pantheon are battling on a global scale, and he has been tasked to save the world from Anubis as Dr. Fate. One's hard, one's, just kind of a nuisance on the off hours.
Yeah.
You make the decision on which is which. So he breaks into a museum to go to an altar of Osiris so that he can try to get any sort of instruction manual on how to use this helmet, because it just keeps flying him around and making him do things, and he seems to have very little control. And he is met, instead of by Osiris, by the ghostly Nabu, who lives in the helmet, and just goes, "Hey, buddy, have some questions? I'll give you what I know. Here's some of the basics of magic and how it works and how you can redirect energies and stuff like that. But you know who could really help you out with this whole killing the god Anubis thing? Let me dump you off at the feet of the Sphinx." And he goes, "Dump, catch you later," and then just floats off into Ghost World, wherever Nabu lives at this point. And poor Khalid / Kent is stuck having a riddle off with the Sphinx, because that's what Sphinxes do.
Where's Edward Nigma when you need him?
Actually, it was pretty funny because the Sphinx goes, "You must answer the riddle of the Sphinx," and he just goes, "It's a man." And then he goes, "No, that's not the one. I'm not using that one." But he ends up saying, giving him all this enigmatic solutions on how you can only kill a god in the place of its highest power, and it will cost blood and more of a price than you will be willing to pay. And he's like, "Yeah, can you just tell me how to kill the god?" And he's like, "No, because I am a Sphinx. I must speak in riddles." And he goes, "Okay, thanks, I guess." I'm sure in hindsight, when I get to that, I'll look back to what you said here and understand, but it wouldn't help me then at the moment. So he decides to do what he can with his powers as he flies back to town and ends up saving some people that are caught in the flooding, and ends up running across the cat god Bastet before heading home, who says, "Hey, buddy, maybe we should talk about this whole you being the avatar of the Egyptian pantheon thing that I kind of thrust upon you. So maybe next issue we'll sit down and chat about that." How's that sound? I like what they're doing with Dr. Fate as far as his supporting cast. I actually care more for his supporting cast than I do for Dr. Fate. And I don't know if that's a good selling point, but it's not the only book that has done that, where I've found more traction with a side character on a book than I have the main character. And I'm just like, yeah, get out of the way. I know it's your book, but let me go focus on these characters more.
Sometimes the background characters are just better.
A lot of the time they are, because they don't have the laser focus where you can see all the faults or get bored with them. You get just enough that you're still interested in what they're doing and who they are. And they're,
your Harry Potter Neo syndrome, where the main character's got to be kind of a blank slate so you can impose yourself on them.
Yeah, you have that as well. So, I mean, or they're already so pre-described that it's just, exactly what they're going to do and how they will react. And you don't know what maybe the side characters will do. So, in this particular book, that's the thing I'm suffering through right now, where I'm just like, okay, get out of the way, Dr. Fate. Move over to the left a little bit so I can see your girlfriend and your friends and your dad and your family.
Yeah.
I want to see more about them right now.
Can your dad be Dr. Fate?
Can you just loan out the helmet on occasion? Just have a sign out sheet with the helmet on a hook next to the door, and everyone just signs it out, and it's like, man, my dad's got the helmet.
Can we convince DC marketing that an elderly Middle Eastern man can sell a book?
Probably not. A blind elderly Middle Eastern man too. So,
oh well.
Yeah. No, I'm just more interested in him and his family than I am actual Dr. Fate.
All right, moving on to Doomed number 4. Did Doom get canceled?
It did.
Yeah.
It was in the title.
Yeah. But I've heard about a lot of things. Even Doomed doesn't seem to show up often. Even I hear it mentioned when they talk about all the things everyone's mad about getting canceled.
Yeah,
shame.
I mean,
I understand why.
Yes.
I totally understand why.
I understand why from an actual book selling perspective, but there's this, and I don't want to say unfair, but Lobdell burned a lot of bridges with people at the beginning of the New 52 with his style, and it just didn't mesh with a lot of people. So now they've sworn off any book he writes and blah blah blah.
Drama.
Yeah, I understand. It's a style thing. Some people don't like certain styles, and I cannot fault anyone for that.
Yeah.
But he's had some good things that I've actually really enjoyed. So.
I will still stand by Clark Metropolis till the day I die.
Same. And watching Supergirl, I was like, no, you do not run that newspaper. You run ClarkMetropolis.com.
You are not Cat Grant. So old.
No way. I thought it was good casting myself.
I haven't seen that. We haven't watched it yet.
Okay, gotcha.
I was looking at him and was like, you're not my cat. You're not my Cat Grant.
oh, that argument, huh?
Yeah. So
let's chat about Doomed.
So we get Riser, the star of Doomed, who I'm just gonna keep calling the monster Doomed anyway.
Sure.
Even though that's not what he's technically called. So he hit puberty and started growing bone spikes all over his body. He is fighting Wonder Girl, because sometime in between the two issues that we just had, was like, yeah, Kid Flash, you don't need to be here. They even had this like hilarious hand wave. It's like, Wonder Girl's really the important part. All the other Teen Titans you saw that we said were going to be in this issue, they're not here.
At the hotel room. Was it really awkward because all of his bone spikes went erect?
I'm not even going there. I already made the awkward joke, and then you just took it one step too far.
One step beyond.
Yes. So, Wonder Girl and Doomed.
Don't shake your head at me.
Wonder Girl and Doomed fight because Star Labs want Doomed brought in, but Wonder Girl eventually realizes that this roaring monster is good when it saves her from a Ferris wheel falling on her. Because comics.
I mean, yeah. That's pretty common.
They fought in an amusement park. It was pretty great.
Amusement parks have to be pretty deadly in the DCU.
I know, right?
I've never seen anyone just go to an amusement park and have a good day in a comic book.
Yeah.
Where they just go and they're like, that was fun. We should do that again sometime.
Yeah.
It never
The Joker
happens.
didn't show up at all.
No.
I mean, that's really any pop-up carnival that shows up. None of those rides are safe.
God, no.
Well, no, we're talking straight up amusement park.
Oh, okay.
Like, very solid, sturdy, not pop-up carnies.
Was this built by Six Flags or was it built by the Joker? It could be either one. You don't know. So many of them just pop up all over the place. So he eventually is able to bone spike down naked in front of Wonder Girl, as awkward as humanly possible, and explain...
Down to one spike.
And he...
I'm out.
And so he explains... Bye, Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
And he explains what happened to him down to every last detail because he just has to tell someone already. And she relates how she's trapped in a silent S&M armor because of her run-of-the-mill teenage art thievery that she was involved in in her origin.
Didn't have that phase in high school?
Hey, Mom, I'm going to rob a museum. Okay, dear, be back by 8. You know, that old story.
Hey, Dr. Fate, you're here in the museum too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's all steal stuff.
Yeah. So, she believes that Riser can control his new power and become a hero doing good, just like she does. It's the most I've ever cared about Wonder Girl in the New 52.
She's had moments.
Yeah, I haven't read them, though, so...
She's had moments.
Okay. So, back at Star Labs, his partner Jane discovers that he was exposed to doomsday spores, because she doesn't know the title of this book. She had to figure that out on her own. And just as T-shirt Superman shows up and is like, yeah, hey, you know how you think that's bad? Things are going to get way worse. And that's the cliffhanger we leave that on.
Did he warn him about the internal monologuing that's going to happen all the time, where he sees a vision of God damn it, Doomsday and himself, and they'll have to have conversations and lock people in cages in his mind all the time?
He has not warned him about that yet.
No, because that happens a lot when you get infected by doom spores, apparently.
Yeah.
Again, it's scratching that itch of a startup hero for me.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, we were getting it with the Blue Beetle stuff, who should be filling that role for it, but isn't right now.
Unfortunately, he's already had his story told excellently well, and do you want to retread that ground again?
Not really, but I mean, I'm just saying that was the going back. That was the character that was really filling that role. Even young Kyle Rayner, when he was first starting out, had that role back in the day, and you always have that character that's really just getting into this whole thing, and I like that point of view on occasion, especially when large.
That's what Marvel's doing with Ms. Marvel right now.
Yeah.
Is really hitting the high notes.
Especially when large events are going on and you have that book with the perspective of someone that has not done this every Tuesday and they're trying to make their way through. And I just like that point of view. So that's what this book was doing for me. I wasn't expecting it to survive. Let's be honest here. I mean, I think we all went into this book going, let's see what you can pull off in 6 issues, and at least he's getting a couple. So.
Yeah.
Next up, though, Green Lantern Lost Army. They have been found, and they were in space all along.
Man, who'd have thought Green Lantern's in space?
Never would have thought.
That's a shock.
Unfortunately, it's not our space. It is the universe that existed before our universe, so back in time a little bit, just skosh. And they are surrounded by light pirates who are draining their rings of ring juice. Going because slurp, slurp, slurp.
Are they like sky pirates?
They're kind of like sky pirates, but not as cool. There will always be one sky pirate, and that is
technically two sky pirates.
No, there will be one sky pirate, and that is the one from Batwing, back around 18 or so of Batwing.
Yeah. Jeez.
So they are getting drained of all their juice, and it's not going their way whatsoever. So much so that even Relic and Krona are forced to flee in their spaceship before they get blown up. And everyone that is out there, all of Jon Stewart and his team, are drained of light and knocked unconscious because the vacuum of space, no shields, not good for health whatsoever. And they all come to being held captive inside a giant prison complex where these light pirates are so thirsty for light juice that they are actually draining the prisoners of any emotion they have within them, killing them in the process just to get that last little bit of emotional light juice out of them.
They have just like a really long straw.
They
did. From
the
other side of the room.
Yeah, it was a crazy straw too. It was looping all over the place. And they were just laughing. It was so much fun, that crazy straw. But the biggest problem is that you have all of these Green Lanterns locked in cells. They're in separate cells, like into little smaller groups. But none of them have rings, so none of them have translators. So they're all trying to communicate with one another in their own foreign tongues, and no one can understand what the other one is saying except for they run across like Salak and Badge is there, the little squirrel one, and Salak. How are you pronounced? Salak.
That's what they said in the cartoon. Salak, I could be wrong.
Salak. He at least learned how to speak English, so he's talking with them. And Badge, the little squirrel, is able to find his way through conduits to find the other prison cells and comes back and is like, chirp, 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 squeak, 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 chirp, squeak, chirp,
They just found a habit trail to go through?
Yeah, pretty much. They have like
Actually, wasn't that also a thing they did on the cartoon show? I can't remember.
Yes, it is. But he comes back and fills them in that, hey, the other lanterns are also here as well, so we could probably do a jailbreak. So Jon Stewart does this. This is our St. Crispin's Day speech. Not any other kind of speech.
Yeah.
It is St. Crispin's Day, no other kind of day. And tells them all, it's Pirate Stomping Day. Let's get ready to get out there and get our rings back. And that's how it ends. The big thing they're doing is, and I know it's not Arrow that pioneered this, it's a very common literary tactic. They're doing the Arrow style of flashbacks intermixed in that are kind of tangential to what's happening in the modern day story, but it's back to Jon Stewart when he was in Afghanistan as a Marine. And in this particular sub-story, one of his squad is injured and he refuses to leave him behind, and that causes the rest of his squad to end up getting killed because they were slowed down, and Jon Stewart is taken captive. Little dark. But you get some mindset, some view into the mindset of Jon Stewart as far as why he is such a hard ass about everything and not allowing a consensus. He doesn't lead by consensus. He just goes, this is what we're doing it now. And you're starting to see some of the reasoning behind why he is that way. So in the case of giving more backstory to Jon Stewart and kind of filling him out a little bit, because let's be fair, he blows up planets and he weeps. That's kind of what Jon Stewart has been doing for about 10 years now. So the fact that we're getting a bit
Drawing some buildings.
We're getting a bit more of an emotional tie to the character and understanding why he is the way he is, and it reads very, very well in that case. So I'm kind of sad that this one's a mini as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have enough time to... There's like 2 issues left of it. I don't know
What's going to happen.
if they're just going to break out and then come back to the present day. That wasn't really much of an adventure.
They oversaturated the Green Lantern stuff for a while. I can see why people would be like, yeah, I don't need another Green Lantern title.
Well, it was also isolated, and the whole reason that all those Green Lantern titles were surviving was they were so interconnected.
Yeah.
Where if you wanted to follow a storyline in any Green Lantern book, you will eventually pick up one of the side titles to even try to follow the story. So,
yeah.
Again, I think they're doing a good job with Jon Stewart. We'll see what they do. And it has Christmas Lantern Guy Gardner, the red and green rings on one on each hand. So I'm hoping that gets to stick around at least and follows through to the present day. So that we get...
Yeah,
Christmas is right around the corner, guys.
Yes, Christmas is right around the corner. We still want that Red Lantern's coda, although didn't they kill off some of the people from that coda already?
Yeah. But think about it. We have Christmas. We get to get Larfleeze in there. We have Christmas Guy Gardner. I expect another Green Lantern Christmas
Larfleeze did have his own Christmas special already,
didn't
exactly.
he? So, but next up.
Moving on. Secret 6, number 6. Finally.
Is this like the Team 7 number 7?
Mm-hmm, yep.
We've made it to the top of the mountain?
Yep.
So then it's going to end, or they're going to kill them all off, one of the two?
I think
this
that's
is
how
Secret
Team 7
6.
number 7 ended.
Yeah. All right. So in Secret 6, we have found out that the Riddler formed the Secret 6 to try to weed out which one of them stole a diamond that he was trying to steal.
Because Riddler plans. Yeah. I actually just finished the 100% of Arkham Knight last night. I did all the stupid Riddler puzzles and everything like that. And his fight was actually really, really fun. But
okay.
He had a class on death traps that he does. And that was the main reason I was doing it, was him just doing all of his monologues over his stupid puzzles. So I just thought it was funny that...
You didn't realize that doing all that didn't just get you a special badge, it actually got you a fight.
Yeah, it got you a fight and a better ending. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So, Big Shot, who we've been following, is actually Ralph Dibny, the elongated man. The Riddler is in love with his wife, Sue Dibny, who is working with him, and he is trying to marry her. Big Shot was working for both of them to lead the Secret 6 back to Riddler to try to get his wife back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, convoluted.
Yeah. So the Secret 6...
So wait, is Sue going along with Riddler's
We'll
plan?
get there. We'll get there. So the Secret 6, really just Strix... is able to absolutely dismantle all of the Riddler's goons in one of the better scenes I've seen so far in this booklet. And it looks like they have the upper hand, but it turns out that Sue is actually totally cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and actually dating the Riddler.
Oh, awkward.
And has a bomb and is going to blow up the dock that they're on. So a big fight engages as a Big Shot turns on the team to try to side with his wife, but everything goes sideways. And because Sue just flat out has amnesia and has no clue who he is.
Oh, no.
And it's like, why are you helping us out, weird guy? And it's like, why would you do that?
Picture.
So he just gets emotionally broken.
Which Ralph Dibny is an amateur at.
He's never done that before.
No skill set when it comes to just being an emotional disaster.
Yeah.
So does she have amnesia, or is she more like Dory from Finding Nemo?
Maybe.
I
don't know. Stockholm Syndrome? Maybe. Who knows? So Ferdy, the ventriloquist, the semi-sentient dummy, turns out he was the one that had the diamond, and even the ventriloquist didn't know he had it, which was fun.
I have no idea how that whole
I still
thing
don't know
works.
how it works. I'm sure if this book continues, we'll figure it out eventually. So Sue straight up blows up the dock. Everyone goes flying. Ferdy loses his diamond. Ralph comes back to his senses when it turns out that Black Alice, who he's been treating like a daughter, got knocked out by it. And everyone decides to stay together as a team because they're going to try to help Ralph because they're all like a family now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, even Catman?
Even Catman.
Even Catman?
Even Man Candy Catman standing there with his lion mask on.
Was his shirt all tore up?
Suddenly losing his shirt, always.
It's just, fire, and it just burned my shirt off.
Yes, how could this happen? Somehow I managed to maintain all my chest hair, but you know.
Fire, the untamed element. Except very tamed around what it burns.
Yes.
You're still enjoying it?
Still enjoying it. Like I said, it got
good.
off to that really rough start because of all the delays.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun story. Some, Ralph Dibny's, Ralph and Sue fans might be a little unnerved by the story they're telling that's going on, but, it's something new.
That's just it. I think it's the playing on old heartstrings that were already
And I suppose
there.
that's like my one caveat with it. It's like, if you do not know any of the old stuff that they're constantly calling back to by making it different, like, is it making any sense to you at all?
I think it would make sense because I mean, I don't have that much of a history with the two, and I understand.
But you did read 52. Which
I
is
did
sort of
read
like
50, yeah.
And you know, Identity Crisis or whatever, which
Yeah.
are kind of two cornerstone Ralph and Sue stories.
I
but-
guess.
Yeah.
It is the paragon of storytelling when it comes to those two characters, from what I've been told. So everyone loves those stories.
Because outside of the Bwahaha League, if you go back and read like old classic Ralph and Sue, they were actually kind of terrible to each other and not the beloved couple that you loved.
Oh, really?
Or want to pretend you loved, you know, so.
Fair enough. Well, I guess I have.
For a while,
I'm tainted. I have too much history now.
Yeah. For a while, as I've learned from the comics blogging internet, for a while, the person who was writing Ralph and Sue comics was having some marital issues, apparently.
Oh, really?
Did not care for what women folk thought at all. Whoops.
Maybe that leaked in a little bit.
Them's the 50s, I guess.
I don't think that works that way. I don't think you just go, them's the 50s.
But that's half of Mad Men, isn't it?
Them's the 1700s. Sorry, everyone.
Yep.
So moving on. Harley Quinn number 20. Doing good for women folk everywhere. Because she's heading off to Hollywood. Hollywood. Da, 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 da. But she is there
She's
to...
going to be in pictures?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Does Film Freak at least show up?
No, he doesn't.
Ah, if any book would have brought him back.
No. She's actually heading there because if you remember, eons ago, someone at the nursing home that she works part-time at was stealing all
She's still doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone was stealing all of the drugs and the MRI machines and selling them on the black market to get money so that she could pay a mercenary to go get her daughter back who's been missing in Hollywood. And Cy Borgman at the nursing home caught her and got her sob story and has hired Harley to head on out there and get the daughter and bring her back. So that's what she does. She's running around Hollywood and runs across a cowboy who goes by the name Cowboy, who goes on misadventures with her until they finally track down the daughter, who is just living La Vida Loca in a hurricane of booze and drugs and just enjoying a Tuesday night in Hollywood, pretty much, and having fun. That's what it's like there, right? When you go visit your brother, isn't it?
I've never visited him. It's too expensive.
A hurricane of booze and cocaine everywhere. Because that's pretty on the nose, right?
Yeah, I'll have to check in with it.
Every time I see him, he's like, "Where's the hurricane of booze and cocaine?" And it's like, "Oh, we don't have that here in Ohio. We just have a lot of meth."
We just yeah. Yep. Yep. And heroin. Come on.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but meth, a lot of meth. So she ends up taking the daughter captive to bring her home. But the original mercenary that was being hired by the mother, who was stealing all of these items to get the money to pay him off, catches wind that the job was passed to someone else and is severely pissed off about this. So he heads to Hollywood himself to show up this person and finds out it's Harley Quinn and is all elated because this particular person has unfinished business with Harley Quinn. When he kicks down the door and shoots Cowboy in the chest. Oh no, Cowboy, we loved you so much.
We hardly knew you.
And it turns out it is Deadshot, who's like, "Hey Harley, we still got some unfinished business from Suicide Squad, so you and me, let's chat." And that's where we will pick up next month, or in 2 weeks' time on this show.
Okay. All right. Robin, son of Batman, number 4.
Oh, I love this so much.
Yeah, so Damian, Goliath, and Nobody are returning some Canopic jars back to Egypt when Deathstroke shows up to collect on some debts that Nobody's dad had to him.
Yep.
So most of this issue is just a really well-drawn fight scene between Damian and Deathstroke with
amazingly drawn.
Amazingly drawn, with a lot of story wedged into the beginning and end. Like, we had a heartbreaking scene where, like, Damian let his favorite art teacher get blinded because he accidentally walked in on a Ra's al Ghul blood ritual.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
And maybe hit a little close to home. I don't know.
Wait, you let your art teacher get blinded from walking into a blood ritual?
No, I would feel really bad if one of my students tried to blind me after I taught them so much. And Instead, they're just like, "Oh, I'm not going to miss you at all when you leave, dude." I'm like, okay, thanks, students that I taught for a year. Damian hilariously makes Deathstroke leave by just using his bank account to pay off nobody's debts, and
hey, it's him showing growth, because think about even a year ago. Well, maybe not a year ago, he was dead. Think of a couple of years ago. Would Damian have ever let that fight pass him by, period? Yeah. I mean, he would have just, for pride's sake, had to do it. Mm-hmm. And now he's just like, you know what? No one's going to win in that situation. Let me cut you a check. Well, actually, first it's routing numbers, so that gets a little confusing. Mm-hmm. So then it's just invoice me.
Yes. Yeah, and so then after they replace the canopic jars, they discover that underneath the pyramid there's a hidden Lazarus Pit, which Damian is not surprised by at all. It's like, it's some League of Assassins crap.
They just leave this shit everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like League of Assassins sewage runoff is what it is at this point. There's so many of them all over the place. It's like, we'll just dump our sewage over in this pit underneath the pyramid, and no one will
trying to break ground for a new Whole Foods. It's like, oh, we found a Lazarus Pit. DC Universe. That's why that one Whole Foods in Constantine was so haunted. Yeah. All the League of Assassin rituals that went on underneath it.
It is, and now we know.
Good thing it wasn't an Anubis market. Oh,
you finally
more
got
Egyptian
your
stuff.
market.
Yeah. Dr. Fate, Damian, and Constantine crossover. Come on, let's do it.
I'll pass.
Okay.
I have to say, with this particular book, a lot of the thing that's really hooked me on it is, since Gleason is doing the writing and the art, the writing can be a little expositional at time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's just, well, he's getting his chops on that one. But the artwork has so many small, subtle storytelling elements in it. I mean, obviously he's writing to his strength since he's the one drawing it as well. But there's so many little things, like the painting that Damian did even had a whole bunch of meaning into where he was at that point in his life, as far as like the serene setting with just a storm cloud in the middle, kind of like where he was at that point. And all of it is just tiny little elements that just tell an emotional story through the art itself that I've been picking up on. And I am not the most observant person in the world. I'm not going to lie. I am not a masterful art critic. I just know what I like. So please take anything I say and on an artistic level with a grain of salt. That's why I don't really critique very many people's art styles, because I have no skill, and I don't think I have any critical skill when it comes to art either. It's just I enjoy it. So I just avoid speaking ill of any art, because I don't think I'm qualified enough to do so. But there's so many little artistic story elements in this that I'm just like, ooh, I like that. It's very nice. Ooh, I like that too. Emotional. It just sets the overtones for each scene with those little things. I just wanted to point it out.
And every now and then you get psychedelic Aztec stone monsters.
Psychedelic Aztec stone monsters, because I felt like drawing them.
Yep.
So psychedelic items as well. I have Martian Manhunter number 4. And where did Kelly go, by the way?
I don't know. She just disappears. She keeps like wandering back.
I know. She just like leaves and comes back and leaves and comes back. But I wanted to tell her about Mr. Biscuits, and she's not here.
Where are you?
But that's okay. We'll start anyway. Pearl. Do you remember the thief, or as they call her on the internet, Indian Catwoman?
Okay.
The thief from India that has run across the White Martian plot and is now on the run, with Martian Manhunter's voice in her head trying to get her to safety. Well, she gets attacked by pirates on the sea as she's trying to make her way back to the States. And it turns out they're all white Martians as well, but luckily Martian Manhunter is able to come into her head and inform her how to unlock her powers. And basically she's able to fight them off and flee with the assistance of Aquaman, who's riding a whale right next to the ship. And
he does.
Because you never know. He just follows pirates on a whale, and he's like, hey, I'm just going to help some people out here, because, the sea's pretty small. The ocean's, I mean, it's like a small neighborhood.
The chances of me running into one of my friends is very high.
Meanwhile, though, Daryl Wessel, the FBI agent, is speeding away in an ambulance alongside the 10-year-old girl, Alicia, with Mr. Biscuits, the Cricket, the grasshopper looking guy. I'm trying to figure out how a good descriptor for him.
He's kind of like a grasshopper alien. Yeah, he's got all spindly.
A British grasshopper alien.
So he's Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, I could see that.
I guess so.
I could see that being.
And
an
they even say he's his subconscious as far as the layers of Martian Manhunter.
The conscience of Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
with no self-control.
No self-control
R.E.
whatsoever.
cookies.
Just want cookies. They
I
are
want
trying
cookies.
Yes,
we figured Mr. Biscuits would be your new spirit animal.
Yeah, if we would figure Mr. Biscuits or White Canary, either one will work for me.
Yeah, and I wandered around to go find cookies, so you have no cookies.
That's where you went.
Yeah.
That's where Liam ate them all week.
I was hungry. I haven't had breakfast, so
Just
it's
eat
past
more
lunch.
candy. You just eat more candy.
Okay, I guess I'll eat more candy.
But the three of them are running away from the Martian Man Killer, which is like this giant white beast monster.
So he's not the Martian Manhunter? He's the killer now?
Well, no, this is a monster that's formed by three white Martians that fuse together into this giant monster that's attacking them. And there's this wonderful scene where Daryl is like trying to help out Mr. Biscuits, who's on top of the ambulance trying to fight off the man killer. And he's like, Alicia, take the goddamn wheel. That's not what he says. He uses a different curse word instead. And she's going, but I'm 10 years old. He's like, well, this is the luckiest goddamn day of your life. And he's climbing up on the roof to fight. It's just very funny, this odd moment in the middle there. And they are able to use their powers together because it seems like Daryl's about to die when all of a sudden Martian Manhunter unlocks his powers of intangibility. And he's able to fend off the Martian Man-Killer until they unbreak it into the three individual white Martians that they were, and they're able to escape to live another day. One little thing, though, because it may complicate how long their lives last. The moon of Mars, Phobos, has come to life and grown a giant mouth and is now flying at Earth to eat it.
Awesome.
So there's a giant Pac-Man moon that's now flying at Earth because the white Martians were toppled. And it's kind of funny because...
So it's just gone full on Majora's Mask on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Awesome.
Pretty much.
Cool.
And it's there's this weird thing, though, because I think it was Mr. Biscuits makes a comment about how Phobos looks scary because it's more of an elongated shape and not like a round moon. It's more like a log kind of. And it just has a big hollow carved out front that looks like a mouth. And he's like, oh, I don't like that moon. It would eat all of my cookies. And he makes like a comment about it before. And then at the end, it just comes to life with a giant mouth and starts attacking. So I don't know if it's reality or if it's somehow Mr. Biscuits is not the same as Mr. Biscuits.
That's a completely different comic.
Sorry, off on my tangent here now. But I don't know if it's his
I would team up with him to fight the cookie, the eating monster.
Mr. Biscuits, right?
I would, if he's
okay, just making sure it wasn't Mr. Biggest you were teaming up with there.
I have no idea who that is.
He wouldn't be friendly, I can tell you that much. But I don't know if it's his powers or his lack of control of his powers that are somehow making this happen or where they're going with that. But the main thing that they have is that all of these characters are, as we've discussed before, facets or fractals of the Martian Manhunter that he's kind of sent off into the world. So they're all part of him. But all of them have their own lives and their own memories and their own sense of self as well. So there's like this whole awkward thing where if they are going to form together to make Martian Manhunter whole again, they would have to willingly sacrifice their own lives to do so. And we would lose Mr. Biscuits. So
yeah, we don't want that.
Would you be willing to trade Martian Manhunter for Mr. Biscuits and Pals forever?
Can we just trade everyone for Mr. Biscuits?
Just everyone forms into Mr. Biscuits?
Yes.
I don't think that's an option.
He's his own super team, Let's let that happen.
So is it like the Teen Titans Go episode when Raven gets split into her, 7 personalities?
It's almost exactly like that because each one of them is a different layer of his subconscious. Like some of them are his more jovial side, some of them are his very analytical side, some of them are his cold, like calculating parts, and It's very well done.
And the best part is his addicted to cookies.
His addictiveness to cookies, which are Martian heroin, as we know.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to think of it as just cookies because cookies are addictive.
Well, they're not that addictive.
I eat a lot of cookies. I don't think you understand how many cookies I actually consume. I eat a lot of cookies.
But there's that overtone of horror as well that's being parsed throughout this book that really does well. Because all the white Martians are just off, like still half melted whenever they're forming. So whenever you get a still shot of them, they're like in this amorphous, like half humanoid shape. And it just gives it this creepy layer on top of everything that it's just, love it a lot. A lot. And as I've said before, I never expected to say that about this book.
All right. On to Prez number 4.
The Prez.
Nice job mimicking Ben Caldwell's art by the fill-in artist Dominique Stanton.
Quite.
Good job making it less of a jarring transition, especially with such a unique-looking book.
Yes.
So we continue the story of Beth Ross, the teenage president, trying to make the world a better place with her stupid youthful optimism and basic common sense.
Wow. Let's be fair. That doesn't get you very far in Washington.
I know. So she needs a chief of staff to round out her team. So she gets her ball-busting old boss from the Little Doggy's House of Corn Dogs because she doesn't take any crap. And it's a really cute scene, like seeing just how she, like, all the, like, her employees love her even though she's constantly giving them crap.
Sure.
You know, it's like someone giving us boundaries. Yay.
Well, not only that, but it's a authority figure for her as well, and has familiarity as well, so that she would feel comfortable at least associating with her. So it was a smart pick.
Yeah.
I mean, in the context of this book and the insanity that's occurring.
Yeah. Also in this issue, the robot army drones that are controlled by yokels who think they're just playing like Call of Duty accidentally kill a kid playing soccer in Pakistan with extreme prejudice, and it's a big, huge deal. So much so that Beth Ross can't deal with it on her conscience and shuts down the Sentry Drone program, which causes a huge rift between her and the congressional colonels and the military-industrial complex. And just before the shutdown, the biggest, deadliest sentry, the sentient war beast, manages to escape from this facility.
Oopsie.
Dun, dun, dun. And also, in continuing with the jokes about just how connected to the DCU this is, we find out that the billionaire Wayne that they've been hinting at is Fred Wayne, a guy who wrote a computer algorithm that writes nothing but hit movies for Hollywood. But he's going to become even more important because he's becoming an enemy to the colonels as well. He grew up next to a pig farm, and it made his life miserable. So he buys land and puts a pig farm right next to the mansion of the senator that got the predatory pork bill passed last month. So the plot thickens.
Yes. That's that pig farm gambit that we all use whenever it comes to politics.
Yeah, and enjoy the feces trough that's going to be right outside your door, buddy.
It'll probably form a Lazarus pit, so who cares?
Yeah. Perfectly legal, thanks to your bill. Good job there, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Pew, pew. Very spot on satire, though.
Oh, yeah.
And considering how far in advance this was written,
oh, yeah,
in comparison to what's happening today in American politics.
Oh, yeah, it was just supposed to be like, hey, people who are going to be annoyed by political ads, here's something for you, and just the quagmire that has erupted already.
Yes, and I'm not saying this is like a Nostradamus level prediction of how the election would go, because I think we pretty much know how these elections work anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a very timely, and it works very, very well, especially with the getting involved in foreign conflicts, as well as the what was the other part that they were doing? The immigration items that they were speaking of. I mean, it's very spot on as far as where they're going with this. So
the politics aren't exactly, they don't seem to be rocket science anymore.
No, it's not whatsoever. It's just the way they're lampooning it in this book seems very, very current.
Yes.
And it's very well done. So
yeah. It leans a certain way, but I think just anyone who's kind of fed up with the government at this point.
It doesn't just lean. I mean, it's pretty hardcore in one direction.
But I think anyone who's annoyed with the government at the moment can pick this up and find something for themselves.
Yeah.
So
until that Republican Hawkman book comes out,
yes,
right?
right.
Yeah.
This government needs to be smaller.
See, this is the government now, and he spreads out his wings.
Yes.
This is the way the government should be, and he folds his wings down.
I'm going to make this building smaller with my mace.
Government away! Okay, I think we got something here.
So it's kind of like Sam the Eagle.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it would be exactly like Sam the Eagle. As a matter of fact, we could probably just cast Sam the Eagle as Hawkman.
Yeah, yes.
So Muppets, DC crossover.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'm sure they would get along fine, right?
Yes.
The Muppets have no conflict of interest in dealing with the DC universe.
Yeah.
No, not at all,
I'm continuing on.
Yep.
So Superman, Wonder Woman 21.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before you do continue,
Yes.
pick up the trade of Prez. I know many of you are not reading this because it's not even at 10,000, I think.
They're breaking into 2 6-issue chunks. It'll be perfect for trades going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully it can eventually kind of like get the Vertigo treatment maybe and just like, hey, it exists to make trades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it picks up on
I have
that.
no qualms with that whatsoever. I don't think this is another one in the doomed pile that I was like, obviously not going to have a big following.
Yeah.
But
it was executed on such a high level. I think anyone who tries it out will get a lot out of it.
It really, really is. So I just wanted to toss that out there because I know it's not being read much in the single issues. So now you can do Superman Wonder Woman.
All right, Superman Wonder Woman 21. We start off by meeting Mr. Bend, the calculator-esque guy who works from his basement dealing with supervillains and apparently also works for the president.
Ah, well, that's cool.
And he sends some weird energy-draining guys after Firestorm to use as a power source. Bye, Firestorm.
Bye, see you later.
Yeah, sorry you're on TV now, but I guess Jason Jax is going to be showing up in the comics soon or something.
Yep.
Wonder Woman is off interrogating all of Superman's friends at Steel's headquarters with her lasso of truth, so the government and Steve Trevor will just get off their... Steve Trevor's being a dick, man. So the government will just get off their backs already. They didn't know they didn't know Clark Kent was Superman. They weren't working with him to overthrow the government. Holy crap, you're taking this a little far, guys. It's also hilariously uncomfortable because Wonder Woman and Lois Lane are going back and forth with this interrogation, and it's just icy as all hell.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of great in its uncomfortableness, like the British version of The Office, Very uncomfortable, but fun to watch.
I'm entertained by this queasy feeling I have in my stomach.
And there's this creepy German guy who may as well be called like Otto von Paperclip, just sitting there asking questions like, so you and Clark never dated, right? It's like, what does this have to do with anything? I am not asking this question for Diana. No. So
this is very important.
Yeah, and Steve Trevor's just like off in the corner trying to like sniff Diana's hair without her noticing. It's like the most uncomfortable thing you could possibly imagine. So
don't you speak ill of Steve Trevor.
That didn't actually happen, but in my heart it did. So Superman comes crashing through the wall of Steel's place. Steel's like, come on, dude. I know I'm dating your ideal girlfriend, but come on, you gotta crash through the wall of my building.
The door was right there.
Yeah. But, and he gets super mad at Wonder Woman for going behind his back. She's like, I was just trying to help your friends. Like, I told you I was going to convince the president to set them free. You didn't think I could convince the president to do something? I'm Superman. What kind of girlfriend are you?
They have trust issues.
Yeah. So, he gets to see all of his friends, and they're all happy to see him. Cat Grant especially, because she so liked him already, but now that she knows that he's Superman
and not the doofus of Clark Kent.
Yeah, she's like, oh my secret hero, paw. Love it.
Your personality is Clark Kent, but you were just so doofy, and I can't be seen in public with a doofy guy like that.
I don't care if Clark never returns her advances or anything. Just her being on the sidelines, constantly trying to help him or worm into his life is what I want more than anything. She is a delight. But yeah, so suddenly these guys with like black holes for heads show up.
Okay.
And start attacking. They're the ones that took out Firestorm before. It's an amazing visual.
Yeah.
It's like Monkey's just knocking it out of the park with this, because it starts off with like weird, creepy, like, I don't know, maybe even Doctor Who level kind of like horror, like just like a weird visual that just really sells it really well. And Clark is dumb and brave and tries to save his friends and is willing to sacrifice himself to a black hole to do it. But they all team up and use weapon steel just laying around to get the black hole guys to kind of collapse in on each other.
Do they seal it with liquid metal?
No.
Oh,
I was so sad.
This isn't steel weapons.
Yeah, it's like I'll get to my steel thing soon enough, but they collapse in on each other and they warp themselves out of the compound, and it just looks really cool. And I love the fact that, like, as they are now free from the government, I guess, like, Steel had this, like, inhibitor device on him or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he takes off and he just shoves it into, like, Otto von Paperclip's mouth. It's like, you can chew on that for a while. I'm like, you didn't cover him with liquid metal? Come on, Steel.
He's getting slow in his old age.
I know. But yeah, as it wraps up, Superman is both super pissed at Wonder Woman and Lois Lane for, revealing his identity and whatnot.
And he mans up.
And he just teleports off to the Justice League satellite to finally get us to the preview story for the
where he's
the
getting
DCU
the ship to fly into the sun to get his powers back because he's sick of this bull crap.
And the I don't love you anymore Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And off at the White House, the president figures out that Mr. Bend is somehow responsible for the parasite just showing up in the Rose Garden, and I do not think that is best for my administration. Thank you.
That was terrible.
So Mr. Ben...
I already booed him twice today. I can't do 3 already. We're still in the first half.
You could boo him all you want. I boo him all the time.
Yep. And so Mr. Bend is fired, and he goes off, and he wanders off just past the White House into a forest where there's a spooky secret tree stump that he just kind of jumps into and, like, portal teleports himself off to be the third person in the Wrath Vandal Savage anti-Superman party. Yeah! Woo! Crossover's coming. Looks like Howard Porter's drawing everything in it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. See, again, I said it last week as well. They're tying their strings together without any need to have the other parts. And that's the perfect way to do a multi-book line.
Yes.
Focusing on one character. So I'm very happy with that. Visuals as well, as you said, very original, or at least to me. Yeah. I have not seen anything like that, so I thought it was very well done. And Steve Trevor's awesome. I'm just gonna leave that out there as well. So next up, Wonder Woman going solo, doing her own thing over in Wonder Woman number 44. Her own thing being shot by a golden bow and arrow by some guy named Aegeus that wants to kill her and take over her mantle as the god of war. So, the usual. Wonder Woman does make her way home after pulling that arrow out of her shoulder, only to find Hera and Hephaestus are waiting for her in her mirror. They're like, hey, how's it going? We're over here on Olympus. We thought we'd say hi. What the hell is happening out there? From what we could tell, the Fates are dead, and just so you know, since no one worships the old Greek gods anymore, the Fates were the only thing giving us our immortality on that plane of existence. So,
whoops,
we won't be visiting you anytime soon. And then, unfortunately, Wonder Woman is forced to say, yeah, about that. I think it was Donna Troy because I was following her, and that's where I found the Fates all dead. So I'm pretty sure she did it, even though we all know she didn't do it. And Hephaestus goes, well, on another note, I know who forged the weapons that Aegeus is using to attack you. Well, at least I know where they made them. They made them in my forge. And that kind of really pisses me off. So let me know if you find out who did it because I need to strike down some divine retribution for this as well. And she's like, all right, whatever. Meanwhile, Donna Troy is a fish out of water in New York City, or actually in London. I'm sorry. She's running around dressed as a Amazon warrior still. And everyone's like, is there a con in town? What is this creepy lady doing just walking around? When she ends up
I love that that's now the explanation for everything.
I know. She ends up saving some street rat that was getting beat up by a pimp, and the street person is able to take her off to safety, where she gets her a fresh new costume or a fresh new set of street clothes that look very very, very similar to her old costume as far as the black and silver trim and
like the Starfield one.
No, she did not have a bolt of galaxy thread laying around.
Okay, gotcha.
In her subway dweller. No, it was just a black shirt and coat, but with silver cuffs and
in the DC universe, you never know.
Yeah, I found this intergalactic cosmic thread stuff. I guess we can make you some hobo
It's
clothes.
constantly changing its pattern. I don't know.
Hobo clothes. There you go. Unfortunately, though, so anyway, Donna Troy has her friend that she's going to learn the ways of the world of man and everything over there with. Wonder Woman, though, at her wit's end on who could be causing all of this strife, goes and visits her sister Strife to ask if she had anything to do with it. And she goes, no, of course it would never be me. I have nothing to do with this Aegeus guy that's running around. She goes, his horse's name is Discordia. I'm pretty sure that's another word for strife. And she goes, no, it wasn't me whatsoever. And this conversation of super sleuthery is interrupted, though, when Aegeus himself drops down in Olympus to go, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to kill you, Wonder Woman, because I'm going to be the new god of war. So I guess we'll never know who was behind causing all of this strife.
Yeah. Oh, strife.
I absolutely love the conversation because it was just so painfully obvious. And Wonder Woman was even like trying to be somewhat civil because it's her sister. It's like, the horse's name is Discordia. For God's sake, you may as well have been sitting on the back of the horse with him.
If Strife didn't exist before the New 52, she's the MVP, right?
I think so at this point. I think she's at least in the running. She's at least in the running. I will say that much. Not the strongest of all of the issues, but it had some moments that made me laugh. And I'm one of the people that actually like what they're doing with this storyline, where they're earning things instead of just making things go back to the status quo pre-New 52.
Yeah.
And running the horses through their paces and letting them get to places where they want them to be instead of just placing them there. So I actually prefer that method of storytelling. I know some people don't. They want to just pick up where they left off and not tarnish characters, I guess you could say. And this character Donna Troy is pretty damn well tarnished, I'm not gonna lie, but she now has something to redeem herself from, and I prefer that method myself. But that's it. That is all of the books for the first week of the 2 weeks we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Woo! Got some Steve Trevor in there, got to cheerlead my boy. Woo! Yeah. So, Brian, tell me, what do you have coming up for round 2? A smaller set.
Week 17.
Yeah, week 17.
Well, actually, I've got a small one. Next one. I've got Gotham by Midnight. I got Batgirl. I've got Justice League 3001 and The Flash.
And I have Deathstroke number 10 as he continues to fight Titans. Grayson number 12. Finally, we made it to the fireworks factory, everyone. The thing that everyone has been waiting for happens in Grayson 12 when he returns to Gotham City. Sinestro, number 15, he has gone too far.
Uh-oh.
Gone too far. I was on board with Sinestro until this issue. No longer,
It seems like more stuff happened in your back half than mine.
You have lost my support, Sinestro.
Uh-oh.
And last but not least, actually that is last, because I am going to be pushing We Are Robin to next week's episode because of Robin War stuff. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books.
We're back.
I didn't point at you yet.
Dead.
I didn't point at you. But we are back. We're back to do some more books. I wasn't dead. I was just having a cigarette. I didn't say that's dead.
We're like, it's just, spooky, It's like, we're zombies coming back from the dead.
But it's not the Halloween episode. It's November.
Spooky pilgrims.
Spooky. Okay, fair enough. So how are you going to transition from spooky pilgrims to Batgirl? Chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yeah.
I'm going for Halloween as Batgirl. There you go.
No, you're not.
I know
You're
I'm
lying.
not. I'm going as Mary Poppins.
All right.
They're very similar. All that floating through the air, throwing things at children.
Bottomless carpet bags. Number one, Batgirl 44. Since it's fill-in month, it's only appropriate that Bengal drew the Velvet Tiger issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I was very amused by that. So,
the poor artist that has the same issue as Fun just can't Google search him.
nope. So
I want to see Bengal art. No, not pictures of Bengal tigers.
how about the band Man? Oh, guess what? You're screwed. So the Velvet Tiger has been murdering Luke Fox's Fox Tech employees with actual tigers. What's up with that? So it turns out that the Velvet Tiger is Lonnie Gilbert, the former Gilcom CEO, and the ex-girlfriend of Barbara's hunky Dean Old Hunk. All of her victims were former freelance employees of hers, and when they left for Fox Tech, her business went under. So because Old Hunk plagiarized his master's thesis, and she knew that and used it to blackmail him into getting their information, because I guess they're also students at his college.
Okay.
He, basically is like, oh yeah, here's their information. You can get back at them. He didn't know that they would get tiger murdered.
Well, it's pretty low on my list whenever I hand out like some personal information for folks. Where they're like, hey,
here's their email address. This is when their birthday is. Oh, you're going to tiger murder them.
Why did you even need the birthday?
Yeah.
It was going to be a birthday surprise.
Bake a tiger into a cake, So
You know what? I would actually, if that was how I was murdered, I would just accept it because I'm like, someone went really, really far to put this tiger in a cake to kill me.
If I have to go, at least it's interesting.
I just know someone put a lot of work into it. This isn't your half-ass murder right here.
So, Batgirl has Hunky Dean Old Hunk confess for his part in the crimes, but she still has to save Alicia's fiancé from the Velvet Tiger because her animal rights activist group accidentally gave her the tigers that she was using for her tiger murder.
Mercy.
Yeah. So
how many tigers were there?
2.
Okay.
2 tigers.
Is he reusing the tigers, or are these disposable tigers where they kill someone and then he just
kill them,
kinda
you
goes...
just got hose off the blood, and
okay,
go about your business.
So these are dirty tigers. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't want no secondhand tiger mauling me. Now I'm angry at this cake death.
Yeah. So she goes, and Alicia gets to do some action helping to help get her fiance away. But Velvet Tiger gets the upper hand thanks to a blow dart. Your computer won't save you now, Barbara. I've got a smoothie straw and some tranks on me. You're going down. So, then Barbara's motorcycle shows up and starts talking to her and just kind of heat vision and jacks her away, before the cops show up to arrest the Velvet Tiger.
Wait, she has a GoBot?
Yeah, she wakes up the next day. Is like, yeah, my motorcycle showed up, started talking to me, and now I'm here. This is perfectly logical. Nothing weird's going on.
Is this supposed to be? Nothing weird is going on.
So Babs wins. Her and Luke Fox decide to start dating, and they're going to go to Alicia's wedding together. And Frankie turned Luke down for a job because she wants to be a full-time superhero as the new Oracle. She still hasn't said it out loud yet, but there's a return label on a return address on a package she sent to Kadir that's marked as Delphi. It's like, okay, just tell us already. We get it.
No, I hope they drag it out for eternity and never actually name her Oracle.
Okay.
And then they can just have their cake and eat it too, because no one can complain that they ruined Oracle or changed Oracle because she's never actually been named Oracle.
Yes. And the very final shot of the issue is Frankie. She's sitting there outside. She's got this weird Wi-Fi thing hooked up to the back of her neck, and she is now in control of all of the drones they took down a few issues ago and Batgirl's motorcycle.
Bleep blop blorp.
Nothing will go wrong with this setup.
No,
nothing will go
Nothing
wrong
at all.
She certainly didn't have a maniacal look on her face when she was controlling the drones. No.
Maniacal laugh.
That's not
Maniacal
a recipe
laugh.
for a villain. You still digging it? Are you still enjoying it? Or?
I'm still enjoying it, yeah.
Good. I know it's got that dividing line as far as either people love it or it's not their bag. And that was what we were saying they were doing with the DCU as far as like making people vested into things. And,
Yeah.
And I think
The people who love it, love.
Exactly. I think this one found its core audience, and it gets to hang around because of it. I mean, it's not going the way it doomed.
Yep.
It is not doomed.
No.
Nor is it Oracle. So next up, Deathstroke number 10. Deathstroke! Da-da-da-da-da-da. Or whatever 90s, 80s era metal music you want to throw in there, because he's the action hero, and he has teamed up with Superman and Wonder Woman to continue their battle to save Themyscira from the Titan named Lepetus that he actually released in his contract. He was hired to kill this Titan and accidentally freed him instead, and is now raffle stomping its way across the island of Themyscira. But luckily he has his God Killer sword that Hephaestus made for him, and he's able to kill the spirit of the Titan's sister that lives within the Titan's weapon, which sends him into a blind fury, allowing Deathstroke to actually kill him. Yay! Yay, Deathstroke. And the Titan's army crumbles as soon as he dies, and he is now a God Killer! Rah! Put that on my resume, yeah! Gonna get some major hits on Monster.com now, or whatever they use for hiring.
LinkedIn? His LinkedIn profile?
Yeah. But unfortunately, Hephaestus explains the entire thing was a failsafe from Apollo, that should he ever be killed, the contract would have to go out because he expected the mortal to fail and it would destroy the Earth. Basically, if I can't have my ball, I will destroy it. So, luckily, Deathstroke was able to save the day, but there is this little thing in the whole Greek pantheon that if you kill a Titan, you kind of also have to pay a blood price equal to it, whoever kills a Titan. That's why they were always imprisoned, because it's a standing rule, and probably should have told you that beforehand, but I'll just tell you now. So here's some hologram pictures of your two kids, Jericho and Ravager. You get to pick which one dies, because that's going to be the blood debt to pay for it.
No, Jericho, don't go.
Ravager is so much cooler than you, but I will miss you so much.
Yes.
But he goes, no, you cannot take either one of my kids. And Hephaestus goes, oh, so you're going to sacrifice yourself instead? He goes, no, I have a better idea. And plucks out his own eyeball and offers it to them and says, take your blood. Now we're squaresies. Ouch. That really kind of hurt. Should have thought that through. Ow, ow. Ow, ow. There's so much dust here on Themyscira, and this open, gaping wound in my face. It hurts a lot. Ocular distress! But it ends with his giant face hole and him holding the eyeball up to the reader, kind of like just dripping ichor and ooze and blood. Like, take your blood! And it's like, dude, come on!
I don't even with the Halloween spirit, and he just handed him like a bowl full of grapes, and these are my eyes. I've got some uncooked pasta here. That was my hair as well. Would you like my hair as a blood?
I had trick or treating at work yesterday, and I was gonna take it in a giant bowl of raisins, not like boxes of raisins, just like loose raisins, and just make the kids take those. But then I decided I would probably end up with a giant bowl of raisins and have to figure out what to do with them. So I passed on that. But Deathstroke, really fun, really good. It's not the style that you would think it was. It has a bit more punch, emotional punch to it, and a bit more, a lot more cerebral thought is being put into this book than maybe previous iterations of Deathstroke that had him just, being a 90s action star all the time. And this one has a little bit more weight to his decisions now, and I think it's a nice balance between the two. You're not getting too much of the action, but you're not getting too much of the feels. So it's a nice middle line that they're walking the tightrope on. So if that's your bag, give it a shot.
If they were Craisins, Sean, our little one would, he would have eaten that whole bowl.
Well, if they were Craisins, I would have just eaten them, and then I wouldn't be here to do this show. I would be elsewhere, suffering, lamenting my decision-making process for eating a giant bowl of Craisins.
Craisins are delicious.
They are delicious, but they will ruin a weekend if you eat a punch bowl of those.
All right. Well, on that note, we're moving on to Gotham by Midnight number 9.
I wouldn't make myself a Lazarus Pit if I ate a bowl of Craisins.
Spooky. So, Sergeant Rock...
I love how you have to pick up the pieces
Yeah,
all
I
the
know.
time.
So Sergeant Rook and Internal Affairs are coming down hard on the midnight shift. They're interrogating Drake and Corrigan for all the murders that keep happening on their cases. They're clearing out their building, and Tar is looking like a crazy person, talking about how the black flowers are marking all of the paranormal events in Gotham that they need to take care of. And everyone's just like, okay, you could tell that to us. Don't tell that to the people who are trying to shut us down because you look like you're insane.
Well, he does kind of already look like he's insane.
Well, yeah,
this is just a cherry on top of the Insanity Sunday.
Yep, so they want to bust Drake and Corrigan for murder, fire Weaver, and send Tar to Arkham. And it eventually comes out that they know about the Spectre's connection to Corrigan. Rook saw it back during the first case of the series. And Corrigan tries to reason that the Spectre is God's will, and that he has no control over this. God wants them dead. So, that's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this police interrogation, right?
This is all logical and rational. We're all understanding this, right?
Yeah.
Flowers, wrath of God. I mean, we're all on the same page here.
So they start really bad copping him, asking why the Spectre doesn't just take out Arkham or lets Joker still run around. And Drake starts losing it and starts screaming off in the other room. Corrigan's ghost hand starts going off again, and the Spectre comes out and just straight up explodes the Internal Affair cops who did absolutely nothing wrong.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Corrigan, he's actually sitting there and he can see the Spectre, and he's just like, why would God want them dead? They were just doing their job. And the Spectre looks at him and says, oh, God didn't kill them. He never did. It was always you all along.
Uh-oh.
Boom. And Jim Corrigan is left with that revelation as he just sits in an interrogation room that is just drenched in the blood of the interrogators as the rest of the department is trying to get into that room and figure out what's going on. He's in a bit of a pickle.
A little bit. Is his next interview going to be... okay, well, let's scratch that God talk.
Yeah.
May have been me.
Okay.
May have been a little... My temper flares up on occasion.
Yeah. Holy crap. What a mic drop.
Really good.
Shame
really
that issue
good.
came out after we found out it got canceled.
I know. It doesn't matter. I got it. It's a part of my life.
We'll
now.
have our two trades.
Exactly.
They'll get to show up and we'll
go
get
up there with
excited.
Demon Knights and All Star Western.
and Star Spangled War Stories.
Vibe and all of our beloved lost friends.
Yes.
Next up, Grayson, number 12. Fireworks Factory. Fireworks Factory.
Finally?
We're here because Grayson has left Spiral and is heading back to Gotham City, where he finds Bruce has amnesia. Oh, that's why he wasn't picking up the phone. That makes a lot more sense. But he does find out that he's actually happy. He doesn't remember anything about Batman. He doesn't know anything about that life. As we know what's going on in the Batman books and everything since he was brought back to life from that Dionysium stuff that the Joker had, and it fixed his brain so he wasn't all tormented, and he's just been living a normal, happy life, and because of that, Grayson's like, you know what? I can't take that away from him. I'm just gonna let him have his life back. He's done his duty. He's given more to the city than anyone else. But their conversation is broken up when Agent Zero comes smashing in through the window and knocks out Bruce Wayne, and they have their little conversation fight because she demands he comes back to work. Your paid leave was not accepted. I explicitly denied it within the payroll system, and you still took leave and went to Gotham. You get back to work right now. And he's like, no, I quit. I don't work for you guys anymore. And she's like, we know everyone's names of all your friends. We will have them all public tomorrow if you don't come back to work. But we're not heartless monsters here at Spiral. We are your friends as well. So we'll give you 24 hours to say goodbye to all of your friends here in Gotham, and then you can come back to work and forget all about this little mess. So we get everything that everyone has been asking for months now, since Grayson has been dead and keeping that hidden from the rest of the Bat family. Alfred, of course, is just relieved and excited that he is still alive. Jason and Tim are rightfully pissed off, though. When he meets up with them, he's like, hey, guys, guess what? I'm still alive. They're like, you goddamn son of a bitch. And they start punching him in the face and beating him up. And they have very, very rational explanations. That's the kind of shit that Batman would do. Why do you think the two of us don't hang out with Batman? Because he kept lying to us all the time and keeping things hidden that he didn't need to. And the whole reason we all still hung out as Robins was because we promised we wouldn't do that crap to one another. And here you are doing it to us. What the hell, man? Get out of here. We don't like you. And all of a sudden, Dick starts talking all weird. It's all crazy font. And he's like, here. Have these 2 batarangs. They were the first ones that Bruce ever made. He would want you to have them. Okay, I'm done talking weird, and I will leave now. And he kind of zips off, leaving the 2 of them just shaking their heads like, he's such a moron. He then goes to visit Batgirl, who is also rightfully furious about that, because if you remember, there was that whole thing where they were kind of going to hook up, maybe, possibly, and then he left, and then he did the whole... well, they were going to move in together, at least. She was going to move to Chicago with him, and then he just left, and then the whole Forever Evil stuff happened where he died, and he's been alive the whole time and never told her, and she's all really pissed off. She's not even going to talk to him, and she goes to leave, and he's like, wait, I'm going to talk all weird at you with a different font and hand you this trapeze stick that was from my family. I still like you. I hope we can be friends. Done talking weird now. See you later. And he swings off to go visit the next person.
They're all going to be like bombs or something, aren't they?
Nope. We'll get there. The next person being Damian Wayne, who runs up elated to see his big brother again and just gives him a big hug. And he's like, oh man, I'm so happy you're here and everything. And Dick's going, wait, aren't you pissed off at me as well? And Damian goes, well, don't you know you're an asshole? And he goes, yeah, I know I was an asshole. And he goes, well, then what was the point? I don't need to tell you. You already know. And he keeps hugging and dancing around with them. And
at least he knows, you know.
And it's that little moments like that I'm just like, Damian, come here, you little guy. Nudging your head right now. But it's shit like that makes me love that little kid. And I love when they get these things, especially between these two characters, because Dick and Damian have the closest tie out of anyone, I believe. Even between Batman and Damian, I think it's still Dick and Damian that still have the closest bond between them from the time where he had to be Batman. But he goes, okay, well, I'm going to talk all weird at you now and hand you this sword hilt of the first time the first time Batman fought Ra's al Ghul. And, okay, done talking weird. Talk to you later. And swings away. And as he swings away, everyone's like, he's using that goddamn Clue Master code, isn't he, again? That thing is so lame. Why are we using this? This is like so childish. And Damian's just like, I don't know. He's a freaking moron. And they bust up their items because the Clue Master code was telling them to break it as he was handing to them all the time. And all of them have instructions inside. So Grayson heads back to Spiral. And as each one of them read their instructions, it's all things on how they can break into Spiral's network and take control of the Hypnos. And that's what ends up happening. All of the Hypnos that are installed in all of the agents of Spiral. Now Grayson and his siblings, I guess for lack of a better word, are in control of all of them. So we see Agent Zero's face go from the swirly curly Q to the normal face, and he's able to recognize her as Luca Netz, aka Kathy Kane, a.k.a. the first Batwoman, a.k.a. the daughter of Otto Netz, the German crazy guy that started this whole thing back in Batman Incorporated. So
a lot of aliases.
That's a lot of aliases, but we're starting to get the link between everyone and where they're coming from. And for folks that didn't follow the long run of Batman Incorporated, they're starting to get filled in on who some of these characters are as well. But now he's just like, ooh, now that I know who you are, I'm coming back to work, but I'm going to dismantle Spiral from the inside. For realsies this time! For realsies!
Not just following every single instruction you gave me.
Yeah, not doing your dirty work for you. I'm actually going to dismantle you this time. Really, really good. Really, really fun. It's everything I was hoping it would be. I almost kind of wish each one had their own issue to really delve into it, because I think there's a lot of things still left unsaid between all of those characters. And you don't want to blow your wad all at once and still have some melodrama between these characters, but I kind of feel it would have been... The wait has been long enough. People have been waiting for over a year now for this to happen, and we just got a taste, and I would hope we would get a little bit more. So, next up, Harley Quinn and Power Girl, number 4, continuing Their crazy adventures off in space as Harley Quinn and Power Girl throw down with the paragon of masculine virility known as Vartox, who has been brainwashed by Odiox, the ultra prude of space, who is tired of Vartox's sexy 60s swinging era and wants to destroy his planets and stop them, and has taken over, has brainwashed him and mind controlled him, and is using him to fight off Power Girl and Harley Quinn. But Harley Quinn is able to break the mind control using the purring of a catacorn that cuts through his manliness to make him see reason.
A catacorn?
Yeah, it's a giant, like, space cat that she rides on, and then she just lands it next to him and makes
So
it
it looks
purr,
like a
and
unicorn?
he's all like, masculinity fading.
So it's a cat with a unicorn horn?
Yeah,
He
that's
got,
exactly
he got unikittied?
Yeah, pretty much,
Man.
but it's a catacorn. Unikitty has already been trademarked. This is a catacorn.
Gotcha.
But it sits there and purrs,
At
and
least it
all of a
wasn't
sudden
candy corn.
he
Candy
loses
corn is
his,
the worst.
It breaks his masculine ways because of the cute little purring kitten, and he ends up coming back to reason, seeing Power Girl, his love, and savior of their race via the PregnoRay, which causes Harley Quinn to just laugh hysterically as that story is being told. As we all know, the PregnoRay was used to save the population of Vartox's planet via Power Girl. I don't know how that happened because I didn't read those issues, but we know it did happen.
Wait, so there's a ray that made her pregnant?
It uses
Over and over again?
No, it's her DNA they used the PregnoRay to shoot using their two DNAs, Vartox and Power Girl, back to the planet to impregnate everyone there. So basically everyone on this planet is Power Girl and Vartox's kid.
Wait, everyone?
Well,
like,
no, I mean, there's like the people that were above
I'm just saying,
that generation.
everyone, like,
listen.
guys included.
Listen.
The whole thing is weird.
It's a PregnoRay. Are you really expecting a lot of scientific explanation here?
Yes.
Then you've come to the wrong place, I fear. But he's...
What happens when they've got to repopulate? That's just a really shallow gene pool.
Very shallow.
Well, they were all... There was a fertility bomb that went off that made them all sterile, so they couldn't have kids.
But...
And that was why they had to do it.
But...
I don't know! Quit asking questions. I don't have the answers to them.
Why not?
Because I didn't read that issue. I already said that. That was before the New 52. It's before my time. But Vartox sees Power Girl, who he thinks is his PregnoRay partner, and starts trying to make out with her and gets beat up because of it, because she is not the same Power Girl. She's the Power Girl from Earth 2, not the Earth Prime Power Girl. Damn it, get it right, everyone. I don't know why everyone keeps confusing this stuff. But their slapstick is cut short when Mega Prude Odiox shows up with his army of sanctified shotgun sisters of the NRA.
What?
Not even covering that up, eh?
They're actually the nuns rampaging around. That's what the NRA stands for.
Gotcha.
Duh, everyone knows that. To preach all of to demand less sexual overtones within this title and in all of the happenings on Vartox's planet. Gee, Brian, I wonder who this is. But they're able to beat him down as he demands less sexy time. Honestly, it happens because Vartox's clothes get incinerated, and once he has to compare himself to Vartox's doomed Spike, he feels inadequate, and they are able to beat him. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here. PG-13. But before they can beat him, Odiox unleashes the Harvester of Sorrow that we just see a giant shadow come over all of them, and I guess we will see what that is next issue.
Okay.
Dude, it's the Sanctified Shotgun Sisters of the NRA. You're not going to give that any credit whatsoever. PregnoRay. This is some bonkers bullshit happening in this book.
I'm just laughing and shaking my head.
Not Unikitties. I mean, we got everything over here in this book.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep it silly with Justice League 3001, number 4. All right. So Terry Flash 3000 goes out drinking for a girls' night out with Wonder Woman 3000. And tells her a story that takes place between Justice League 3000 and Justice League 3001.
Ooh, the missing year.
Yeah, the missing
week.
Missing week, right,
like,
yeah.
The year flipped over.
Yeah. Terry Flash got sent out on a fake training mission by Batman and fake aerial masters on a deserted planet, where she runs into some piranha bears and Mirror Master 3000, who's on the run from Lois Lane 3000, who just scares the crap out of him. They have a mini adventure evading piranha bears, and Mirror Master sneaks away on his own. And Flash might have a little bit of a crush on him. Don't tell Super Douche. But Wonder Woman
triangle.
But Wonder Woman didn't hear anything because she's passed out drunk already, and Flash has to carry her home. It was a cute little character building one-off.
Yeah. And honestly, the only character that is really majorly different is the Flash. Well, I don't want to say majorly different. Is an entirely different character, assuming the mantle is the Flash. So she deserved a little bit of extra time. That and the whole Lois Lane just being evil for evil's sake. They're starting to dig into that a little bit more because reasons.
Yeah.
Love the title. Everything about it is quirky fun. I'm curious to see what's going to happen when the art shifts a little bit. Since,
Porter's leaving. Yeah. You told me that.
He's heading over to one of the main Superman titles, I believe. So actually, I believe the main Superman title. So, I'll be interested to see where it goes. I hope they keep the same zaniness. I'm hoping whoever it is doesn't murder themselves like Porter's been doing. Keep it realistic. Just keep it within what you can do. Don't try to follow this. You'll die. You'll die horrible deaths. Speaking of dying horrible deaths, Sinestro needs to die.
Okay.
He needs to be stopped. He is on a rampage of terror, and I was kind of keen with it, but today, no longer. Because Sinestro has sent his war dog Lobo to take out the opposing lanterns, and in this case, in this day, it is Saint Walker that he has sent Lobo out to capture. And Saint Walker's just out there being super cool. He's delivering I guess he has like a cup of water, and he takes it to this planet that has no water on it, and everyone's dying of dehydration. He's like, well, I guess you could all take turns sipping it and hope it lasts. And it's not really working out too well.
Saint Walker. Lobo is going to do the universe a favor.
No! Because Lobo shows up and starts attacking him and beats him up unconscious. But the locals, the dehydrated, dying locals say, no, he brought us a cup of water to share with our planet. We're going to stand up for him. And Lobo just threatens them all down with a most heinous death for the entire planet, where he was going to sit in his spaceship in orbit and incinerate any rain cloud that came near the planet. That's like, you're creative, Lobo. I'll give you that much. And as he's threatening all of them, another Sinestro ring flies down and lands on his finger, saying, Lobo, you have the ability to instill great fear. And he's like, space rings! I hate them! And just cuts off his finger again to keep the ring off of him. Because they keep flying and landing on him. And he's just so annoyed. He's like, I'm not a goddamn lantern. Quit sending your rings after me. So he throws St. Walker into a giant burlap sack and carries him back to Sinestro and goes, here you go, and dumps him out. And actually yells at him and says, if you send another goddamn ring at me, we're not going to have a happy conversation, before he heads off to murder more of the people that I love. And dumps off St. Walker, who has a conversation with Sinestro where he's like, look, buddy, we're on the same team. You want people to have good things. You don't want bad things to happen in the universe. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring order through fear. And I don't like this planet being in this case either, because situations like this cause chaos. I mean, people get desperate, they get hungry, they get thirsty, they do bad things. I have no control over people when they're that desperate. So he sends down the Manhunters that he's replaced with Sinestro faces on all of them, and sends them down with supplies and water to save all the people. And St. Walker's like, maybe I misjudged you. Maybe you are a nice guy. And he's like, that's right, buddy. I'm on the same side as you, so what do you say? You gonna bring your Hopi powers because they're so awesome, and I cannot do my plan without them, and help me out with my Sinestro core? And St. Walker goes, I would, but my ring only really works with willpower rings. I don't think it does the same thing with fear rings, so gonna have to politely decline. And Sinestro goes, lay sigh. No matter, I have my crack team of murderous psychoscientists who will just run test after test of torturous tests on you until we figure out how your power works and can change it to work on Yellow Lanterns, as all of the psychotic, crazy people come out with pointy daggers and jabby bits and chainsaws, and they're gonna chop them up into pieces to make them work for Yellow Rings. No! I'm not happy at this turn of events. I was so happy with Sinestro, and now he's turned on me. It's like a rabid dog.
Isn't that his thing, though?
No, he's just a cocky dick, is what he is usually, but now he's gone too far. You don't bring in Saint Walker and then dash my hopes. Dash my hopes. Get it? See what I'm saying?
Dashing your hopes onto the Flash number 44?
Sure. See, I gave you a decent segue. I had dash and hope. It was a
There are no
pun
Craisins involved. There's that.
No. Just go. Finish it up.
All right, so Zoom and the Disciples of Zoom have set up a gigantic trap for the Flash, including trapping him at the bottom of the ocean so he gets the bends.
No!
This is...
Wait, so like Zoom the same from like the TV show?
Yes, I would assume.
I guess kind of,
because they have split off Reverse Flash and Zoom on the show as well.
But he looks more like the original Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
He's got the yellow suit on. That's slightly different from the yellow suit. I don't know.
And he runs backwards everywhere.
Yeah,
it's really awkward.
That is awkward.
So Barry gets the bends. This is nowhere near as catchy as that Radiohead song. And Wally West just rolls his eyes. Says, "No one listens to Radiohead anymore, Flash."
I listen to Radiohead still. What's wrong with Radiohead?
No one cool.
Well, I'll accept that.
Yeah, Wally's too young and hip for you, Sean. So anyway, he super heals through that. And
what about Q-Tip? Is Q-Tip still in?
I think he's hanging out with the Chemical Brothers, which is still pretty dated, but yeah. So anyway, he super heals through that. It sucks, but it allows them to set up a force field around the precinct in Central City. Flash.
Wait, the Benz lets him make a force field?
No, the bad guys set up a force field while he's healing through that. So Flash tries to just phase through it as he does usually. Sure. And in doing so, he sets off some kind of Speed Force Rube Goldberg device that causes a bomb to explode everything. And wouldn't you know it, this all happens on the same day that Wally West started interning at the precinct's garage. And he gets zapped by Speed Force. I wonder what's going to happen.
Only 60 years till I retire from the force. Yeah. He was too soon. He was just going to retire.
Yeah. But yeah, Barry might have just blown up part of his city by accident. And but more devastatingly, earlier in the issue, Director Singh and the Pied Piper broke up.
No! I liked that relationship.
I know, but he's just like, hey, you know what? You can't... I guess he showed up at the precinct and he's just like, yeah, listen, you're a supervillain and I'm in charge of all this important police stuff. That would not look good on me. I'm not a supervillain anymore. It's like, but the image.
Yeah. I still think...
I love the whole thing. It's like, are you ashamed of being gay? It's like, no! I'm ashamed of you being a superhero. Everyone knows I'm gay. Who cares?
Director of the police.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I thought that was the redeeming part of their relationship out there, though, was the whole fact that they were...
He didn't care that he was a supervillain at one point?
Yeah, they were the Capulets and the other ones.
Montagues.
Yeah, the other ones.
The Capulets and the other ones.
Mine just...
Cliff Notes by Sean Lamont. Order them now. Pass all your classes.
I just had a mind blank. I'm sorry. Ahab and that fish thing. And
amazing.
Yeah. I got skills. What can I say? That's why I'm with the cool kids, because I just don't care, man.
Yeah. Sitting in the back of the bus.
But yeah, I just thought it was a nice little thing. It made me like them more. Now it's gone. What is up with this week? They're taking everything from me. But that's it. That's all of our books for this week. We did have We Are Robin number 4 as well, but as I said, next week we have that odd 5th week in the first half of the show, so I'm
really
going to lump it in there
so.
just to kind of round things out a little bit more, as well as the Robin War stuff kicking off. So that being said, you guys have to go out there and buy these books. Buy the things that you like. Buy the things that you are interested in. Do not let anyone, us included, tell you what is good and what is not. If you enjoy it, it is good for you, and you should keep enjoying it. Do not let public opinion sway that. Or our opinion, which isn't really public. Well, it's kind of public. We're kind of putting it out to the public. But I don't think our opinions are generally the public opinion.
No.
Right?
No, it doesn't
As
sound
we've
like it.
learned with Vibe and
Yes.
Gotham by Midnight and Star Spangled War
There's
Stories.
a difference between our opinion versus risk and reward. I understand those ones because you look at it and you go, that's not going to last. Why would I waste the few dollars I have to read it if it's not going to give me a full story? If it has the potential to not give me a full story, I'm not going to waste my money on it. I understand why people just don't go that route. I'm kind of hoping the trades are doing a little bit better for a lot of those titles, though.
Yeah.
Where they get to see, oh, it did finish. Cool. I'll pick it up in trade or go to the library and get them to send it to me so I can read it. Remember, that's an option as well, folks.
Yep.
But yeah, make sure you support this stuff because if you don't buy it, they literally will not make it. That includes characters, that includes tones, that includes weird storytelling styles. If it's being supported, trust me, it'll stay around. If it's not, it may be a while until it comes back around. See Commandi. It may be a long while until it comes back around. But next week we have more books again. I'm not going to go through 2.5 weeks of books to list them all out, but there's a whole bunch. We'll start getting into the October books as we whittle our way up to the present day again. And then, hopefully by a little after, maybe the week after Thanksgiving, we should be fully caught up if my math is correct, which will be good. So heading into December and the holidays, we'll be fully caught up and ready to rock and roll.
All right.
See?
Just in time for
Easy peasy.
Just in time for our
lemon
busy
squeezy.
season and us not being around.
No, I'll be around. Even if it's just me talking crazily into the ether, we will get these shows out. God damn it. But if you do want to contact us and yell at us and say, eat those Craisin, Sean, nothing bad will happen. You can do so very easily via what, Brian?
The internet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kelly's here. You are fired,
All
Brian.
right, cool.
Kelly, how can people reach us?
The internet.
That's right. And how would they find us on the internet? Oh, God, this is not hard. How do you find anything on the internet?
Type in the DCR podcast into
Your search engine of choice.
Yes.
Be it web crawler or Alta Vista, you will be able to find us.
What about WebMD? What does WebMD say if you type DCR podcast into it?
I think it says you have cancer. Because
Okay.
that's all WebMD says.
The cure is to eat more Craisin.
No! But that being said, everyone, enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives. Hopefully your Halloween was awesome and your November is even better. And we will talk to you next week.